This is a huge step for me today, and I have some help from my husband who is in our trailer. Let me turn this, see if you can see our trailer over there, and hopefully I did that far enough. And he is being my person to let me know if he can hear me. So, is it gone live yet, honey? Hmm. So he says it hasn't gone live yet. Mine is showing I'm 34 seconds into it, so there's a delay. And upcoming. Okay, so it must be getting ready to start pretty soon. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I am an overthinker by nature. And so I want to know how all of the nitty gritty details of something works before I do it. But there are some things like going live on YouTube where you can't really know how it works exactly until you experience it. So this morning I put on my big girl panties and I said, okay, today's the day. And it was uncomfortable for me to ask my husband to watch this because, we don't want to be vulnerable in front of the people that we love. Ooh, working well. Good luck. Thank you. So I just got feedback from Earl that it is working. So you can close the window. So he just closed the window, so he probably won't be able to hear me that well, and whether he's still watching or not. It says there's one person watching, so we'll see. Um, yeah, so I am uncomfortable doing this. It's closed. um, yeah, so that is distracting when comments pop up, but that's something that is a skill that I will learn to start looking at comments and continuing the flow of my presentation of what I want to talk about. So today the big thing that I want to talk about, and first big news is I accomplished my two goals. So number one, I wanted to go live using my phone. The small screen really I'm not comfortable with, but because of my living situation, I would rather have this for a background than all of the clutter that's inside our trailer, which it looks cluttered, but it's actually organized when there are two people living in a 7 by 14-foot cargo trailer. Some people's bathrooms are bigger than our living space, and it just doesn't look good. So rather than feeling that discomfort of my background, I thought the desert background is so beautiful. So I went live using my camera, and it's really not as bad now that I know where the comments will show up. And that was the second thing that I needed Earl's help with, was to have the comments, know where they were going to show up so that I could see them. And the thing that's cool, which I didn't know because I hadn't done this before, is for me they actually show up right here, which is just below the lens. So I'm looking at the lens, and the comments show up right before, so I don't have to be looking way over here or anything. Whew, so deep breath, Donna. So let me tell you why it's important for me to go live, because most people don't do it. They don't care about it. It's not something that matters to them. Well, for many years, decades, I have felt a calling to be a coach and a healer. But my level of visibility is not much because I'm an introvert. I'm very quiet. I like my privacy. And being on social media just really isn't comfortable for me. And I know so many coaches and healers who have the same problem, attracting clients, talking about what it is that they do, the transformations they can help people have. Some of the transformations I've helped people have over the years are is going from an extremely negative approach to life, always seeing the doom and the gloom and the lack of opportunities, rather than the potential and the abundance that is out there. And I've been able to do this because this was my experience. Until I was pregnant with my first child, I emulated my father so much. And it's not something I'm proud of because he was a very negative, critical person. And I was negative and critical. In fact, one time when my first husband and I were out to eat, the service was so bad. He reached into his wallet to leave a tip anyway, and I said, "No, this server does not deserve a tip." I said, "No, actually, leave a quarter." And he was like, "No, she's working hard." And I said, "No, she was awful. We didn't get our drinks refilled. Our food came out cold, blah, 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 blah." And I berated my first husband for wanting to be kind to someone who was working hard. I'm not proud of that person. However, when I was pregnant with my oldest child, I had this realization, the light bulb went on, and I said, I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be someone my child is embarrassed to be around, like I was embarrassed to be with my father in public. And I changed. And I started learning that not everyone thinks this way. And I had had a few minor experiences with people, one woman who transformed my life. And I realized it doesn't have to be that way. And so I changed and I look back and I tell people that's how I was, and they just can't even imagine it because today I love, love, love leaving 100% tips. Whether the service was good or bad, I love leaving big tips because people are working hard. They are doing their best with what they know in the moment, with what their experience has been. And if I can be that example of someone who, perhaps this server says, oh, I know I dropped the ball with this person. I don't deserve any kind of a tip because I really screwed up. I've been having a bad day. I'm taking it out on my customers. And if someone leaves a 100% tip when they know that they screwed up, might that, like the Grinch, what is the sign? I don't know how to do this Taylor Swift sign. Make their heart expand? It's possible. Everything is possible. And so going live here today, this is a first step for me in my journey because here's what I want to do, what I truly feel my calling is now. Because I did realize recently, because of the work I'm doing with the Legacy Builders program, that the dream, the vision to be a coach or a healer was not my own. It was a seed that was excuse me, it was a seed that was planted dozens of years ago by a coworker. She was watching the Oprah Winfrey show back in the early 2000s. Cheryl Richardson was on the show. Cheryl Richardson is like one of the first prominent life coaches. And Pat came to work that night and she said, oh my gosh, I saw Oprah today. There's this woman, Cheryl Richardson. She's doing amazing things, helping people transform their lives, going from negative to positive and doing all of these great things. And Donna, you're just like her. And I thought, I don't know who this person is, but Pat planted a seed. And so I started learning about what a life coach is and say, yeah, that sounds, I could do that. And then as my journey progressed and other people were, coming to me and just, I had 2 ears and I wasn't much of a talker. So I just let them listen. I just let them talk. I listened. And then when they were done, I would say, are you open for some feedback? And they would say, yeah, this really sucks. And I would offer some guidance. And then they would come back and say, oh my gosh, what a difference that made. I thought that, my kids were just screwing up because they just wanted to piss me off. And then they realized, no, they really were just struggling with math. And so being able to help people with that really lit me up. But being a coach, But with the Legacy Builders program, what I really realized is that I love to help people when they are starting on their journeys. I love to support people when they have a big dream. And so here I am on this, is this the last day? Nope, today's the 20th of December, I think. At the end of 2024, my vision is to help at least 62 coaches and healers step into their power, to find their voice, to have the courage to go live on Facebook. And I will be their person. When they say, Donna, I'm going live at this time, will you be there to let me know if it works? Will you be there to help me see that the comments are working, where I can find them? Will you be there to guide me and encourage me along the way? And that's what I'm here for. That is my goal. Not necessarily to work with people one-on-one for their personal transformation, but for their personal transformation. It's even bigger. So my goal is actually to help 62 coaches and healers by the time I reach 62, which is May 1st of 2025. And I set this goal. So this is something that frequently happens for me, for other coaches and healers that I know personally. We set these big goals and then we become complacent and we sit back. We get stuck in the weeds. We start to over focus on our websites, our branding colors, our message, our signature programs, the back end of the technology that will support our vision. But what we don't do is start to get out there, to put ourselves out into the world. Excuse me. And we hold ourselves back. I set this goal, a mission. My mission was to help 62 coaches and healers by the time I reached 62 in mid-October. It's the end of December, a month and a half of time that I burned through. I wasted it just playing this cool Zen color app on my phone. And I've taken screenshots 1 hour, 2 hours a day. And in the Legacy Builders program, all she asks, all Michelle O'Neill, our coach and our mentor, all that she asks is us to spend 2 hours a day creating content, connecting with our audience, starting from day one. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have our message down pat. We don't have to know who our ideal customer is right away. We can allow these things to evolve, to transform. When I first started, I thought that maybe nomads, because I'm a nomad. I've been on the road for 3.5 years now. I love this simple lifestyle. But there was something that just didn't feel good to me. And then I tried people who were saving for retirement. They hadn't saved enough retirement. They didn't want to work until they were 100, but yet they knew they didn't have the money saved. And I dabbled with that a little bit. But again, it really didn't feel aligned because I haven't been struggling financially. I do have retirement savings. I don't have as much as I would like. I don't have enough to not watch my pennies and consider the cost of stopping at some roadside attraction without wondering if the $10 admission fee will be worth it. No, I want to leave 100% tips. I want to be able to stop at every single Laura Ingalls Wilder homestead location and go into their museums and learn a little bit more about this woman who impacted my childhood, not through her real stories, but through the TV series. What is it that you want to do in your retirement years? What do you want to do as a coach or a healer? Because all of these pieces, they come together. I have a real hard time still focusing on my ideal. And the guidance Michelle O'Neill gives me is that my audience will tell me I need to show up and start sharing my experiences, what I've learned, what I'm learning through this program, and encourage other people to do the same. Because for me, accomplishments, goal setting has always been about who I can become to accomplish it. And with this journey, it's a crazy, wild ride. It's a crazy, wild ride. So what am I doing? How am I helping coaches and healers? Here's what it is. The Legacy Builders program is a course. It's an online course. If you've ever bought a course or a coaching package before, you can pretty much know what you're going to get. There are going to be video recordings. There's going to be lessons that you do to take action that will lead you to a transformation. With most coaching programs that I've purchased, it's typically a 6 or an 8 week program, and it's pretty overwhelming is the word that comes to mind, because you're trying to keep up, but yet you still have life. And if you fall a little bit behind, you feel like you can never keep up. And I believe this is why so many online programs, they're not completed. People don't actually do them. The vision sounds great, but the commitment, the dedication to actually stick with the program falls by the wayside. There are so many shiny objects out there, right? With the Legacy Builders program, number one, yes, it is lifetime access to the program for as long as the program exists. Number two, instead of it being a limited time, we have a community that's ongoing, and every week we have mentoring calls. And these are on topics like social media marketing and on your mindset, because your mindset is going to be the biggest thing. In October, I set a goal to help 62 coaches and healers by the time I turned 62. The end of December, I'm finally starting it because I just was complacent. I just couldn't move past my own doubts and my own fears, the dealing with the tech. And I know that I'm rambling, and that will probably continue. It is kind of my nature. But the Legacy Builders program is helping me with all this. And so I'm encouraging coaches and healers through this program to learn social media marketing skills, to get themselves out there consistently. Because we tend to think if I put something out every day for a week, that should be good enough to fill up my program. But it's not. It really isn't. There's so many distractions on social media and in life. And sometimes we see something and we may want to save it. This happened to me just the other day. I was watching a very good Simon Sinek video on YouTube, and I wanted to watch the replay, and I got distracted. And I looked back and it had advanced to the next video, and I couldn't get back. It's like, lost opportunity. So, as I say that, if you're enjoying this message, this convoluted, kind of all over the place message, remember it's not my first time going live on YouTube. I will be honest about that. I did try it. I think it was back in the summer, and I had set the intention. Once again, we set those intentions, we don't follow through. Is that your life story? It can be mine in many aspects. And so I did go live back then. I have tried a couple of times to play with the technology. I just did those as unlisted ones. And today I was vulnerable with my husband and said, this is something I want to do. And, but I'm uncertain. Oh, I can feel the emotion come up. Whew. I'm uncertain about how this will work. And I'm feeling insecure at this point. So would you help me? And of course he did. But yeah, talking about things that are important to us. Many years ago, in 1998, that long time ago, I joined Toastmasters. And there is a story behind that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to share that at some point. But or it's one of my Brave videos in my Bits of Bravery playlist. Ooh, tears actually came out. And the thing about learning public speaking, the thing about learning social media marketing, to have a presence on social media, is you have to do it in a public setting. It's not something you can do on your own. But the skills that I'm learning in this program are very similar to the skills that I learned in Toastmasters. Very similar. It's feeling confidence. It's looking your audience in the eye. For me, I'm not looking at your eyeballs, but right there. I won't go any closer because I'll poke you in the eye. It's learning how to talk to a camera. And this is so important in today's world. It's so important because what are we doing for job interviews now? Even if you don't want to coach or heal, if you're not starting a business, but if you want to advance in your job, you're going to be on video. Feeling confident, looking the camera in the eye, being able to speak clearly. Those are key skills that you can develop with this program. So, okay, I have been speaking for 18 and a half minutes now. This is good enough for my first try. Tomorrow, there's always one more thing. Sorry, there's always one more thing with me. My intention from about a week ago was to outline some bullet points so that I could have a cohesive presentation here, so that I would have a flow, and I haven't done that yet. And so until I do that, I am still making a commitment to myself to show up every day. And I will deal with the discomfort, and I apologize in advance for how that will feel for you. It will be rambling. It's a skill I'm developing. And as I become more comfortable with this format, I will take the time to write down my bullet points so that things are a little bit more coherent and one topic instead of all over the place. Oh, there is one more thing I did want to do. So hold on while I get my tablet fired up. I wanted to see. Nerves, and I can't get my password to type in right. There it goes. Okay. One thing that I've been spending time on, I'm I've never been on Instagram. It's not a platform I have ever felt comfortable with, but I wanted to get on Instagram, and you can learn more about this whole story in the clarifying the call. Nope, nope, nope. In the watch the new content tab. But what I did, let's see, because I wanted to see if you could see, so it's a little bit reflective, maybe, or maybe that's just my phone. But on my Instagram, which is at Kelly Wynn Creates, the same as this YouTube channel, I created a 9 grid. And what this is, it's a static 9 grid. But if you want to see, I don't have many here yet, but click on the Reels tab, and that will be updated reels that I post to my Instagram. But the thing that's great, let's see if I can go back to the 9 grid. I did it. So the thing that's great about the 9 grid is each of these has a different piece of the puzzle, so to speak. I look at it as my Brady Bunch grid. So where Marcia is start here, and this is kind of telling the story about the energy of Cali Wind, which Cali Wind stands for. Oh, in here on my grid, the circle around it tells what Cali Wind is. Cali Wind is a personal philosophy, and it's one you can adopt for yourself if you want. Excuse me. It's courageous and lightheartedly independent while enjoying new directions. And so it's just an approach. So today I had courage to do this, to ask my husband to help me out, to get me started. And 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 it's just about abundance. It's one of those throwaway words that we never really think about. We don't give much power to. But and is the power of ambition, of aspirations, of abundance. And is always more. So courageous and lightheartedly, don't take yourself too seriously. That's been one of my, I don't want to say challenges, roadblocks. It's been my approach to life for all of my life. And I have been trying to just lighten up, not to take myself especially too seriously. Independent. Independent is being an independent thinker. Just because everyone else is doing something one way doesn't mean you have to do it the same way. Be one of those thought leaders, those consciousness shifters who is able to say, that works for you. That's awesome. I'll find my own way. And on my journey in life, I have had to find my own way so many times. In fact, today is actually an example of that, but I won't go into that. So independent while is part of the journey. We're not just focused on the destination, we're focused on the journey and who we are becoming along the way. Enjoying. I'm over 50. I can make my own words. So if you're under 5 and over 50, you get to make up your own words. Enjoying is just a combination of yen, yearning, and enjoying, which is the pleasure. And so while along our journey, we're enjoying, we're yearning for something more. We're enjoying the journey along the way. And then new directions. Instead of being stuck in the same old, that sense of complacency that life is good enough. If I make any changes, I might screw things up. I'm okay with things the way they are, but it'd be nice if they're better, but I'm not quite sure I want to take a chance that I could screw up what I have. One of my coaches, she talked about if you rate your life on a scale of 1 to 10, or for you it might be 1 to 10, and when people are in the 1, 2, or 3 range, then that's when it's really easy to make changes. This is when you have a medical emergency. You have a heart attack and then you start to eat right and exercise. You have diabetes or someone dies and you start to see how you're losing a job and you start to say, something has to change. I can't live this way. That's like in the survival aspect of life, right? And then you have people who are the high achievers, and they're the 8s, the 9s, and the 10s. And life is so flipping good for them, and they're just thinking, oh my gosh, life is so great, and I know there's more, and I want more. Oh my gosh, when I have more, I can do more. Instead of leaving a 100% tip, I could leave 1,000% tip. Instead of showing up to a Laura Ingalls Wilder Homestead Museum and paying the $10 entry fee, I can pay the $10 entry fee and leave $1,000 in the donation box. I can do so much more because I am so abundant and I know that the universe is right here with me. It's got my side. It's cheering for me. There's so much. There's so much more I can do. So many more coaches and healers that I can help. Ah, sweet spot, right? The trouble is, the problem child. We problem childs is we are in that 4 to 7 range, and we are good enough. Life's a bitch and then you die. That was my quote in my yearbook, my high school yearbook. Life's a bitch and then you die. We expect the struggles. We muddle through. Meh. Kind of a tough place to be, isn't it? When in your heart you want to change the world, but you want to change the world with guarantees, but there are no guarantees. You want to do a YouTube live and have someone watch you, but yet it's terrifying if someone is watching you. I see someone here. Hi. If you would let me know where you're calling from, as if I'm, whatever. If I'm thinking Fraser Frayne on the Fraser radio show, let me know where you're from. I really appreciate you being here today. And yeah, so when we're in that spot between, say, 4 and 6 or 7, it's very easy just to feel comfortable and not want to rock the boat. But when our heart is telling us that we're here for something more, when we have a vision of what we want to accomplish, of things we want to do and create, when we stay stuck in that spot, it's very easy to see the years and the decades pass by without changing anything, without having that impact you came here to make. And with the Legacy Builders program, I feel like I finally found that bridge between my reality and my dream. And that's the path that I'm walking. And that's why, even though it took me a long time to get here, I'm here. I'm here doing this live on YouTube because I know it matters. And even though my life is definitely in that 4 to 7 range, it's probably like an 8 minus. Um, yeah, it's something we have to push ourselves. We have to find that strength within ourselves. And I hope to be one of those resources, one of those guides that when you're just feeling a little bit too complacent, I can help you move into that higher level so that you're saying, okay, this really is possible for me. If she can do it, I can do it. So thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate it. And I will be back tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Now, how do I stop this? Another problem to solve. All right. If I finally disappear, you'll know I figured it out. Okay.